right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah Bahashem, Rakakwadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to his younger brothers, and peace and blessings and salutation to the hopeful elect out there pushing his word in truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah Bahashem, Rakakwadash, pushing to get up out of there. Shalom to the hopeful elect, the believers, the listeners, whom have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bashem Al Shah. All right, and what I want to get into, this morning, is dealing with, who is the wise man? Who is the wise man? All right, and in these last days, the Lord has, as He promised, poured His Spirit out into the earth. All right, the Holy Spirit. Okay, which gives us the ability to understand the scriptures. It comes with the gift of faith. We're comforted by the scriptures, and as we're able to understand, as the scriptures say, we seek the Lord. As it was our mind to go astray, now that we return, we seek the Lord 10 times more. And as we tap into the scriptures, the Lord has the brothers set up from the apostles and the elders on down, to edify, daily in His word. We're able to become wise. We're able to, soak in His word, with understanding, and discernment and become wise. We're becoming wise in Yahweh Bashem Al Shah, which is a beautiful thing. So when you go into the book of Sirach, the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 8, verse 1, it says, "Who is as the wise man, and who knoweth the interpretation of a thing? A man's wisdom maketh his face to shine, and the boldness of his face shall be changed." So it says, who is as the wise man, and who knoweth the interpretation of a thing? And it's the hopeful elect in these last days, beginning with who? The prophets, man. The Lord has given, prophets the ability to understand the interpretation of the scriptures, because the scriptures is full of dark sayings, symbolism, parables, and these things have to, and the interpretation of these things comes from on high. It's given unto men, and then men teach these to other men that are of the hopeful elect. And then it trickles down to the church, the believer, the men, women, and children who are allotted for salvation, man. So it says, who is as the wise man, and who knoweth the interpretation, of a thing? You see? So when you go here, let's get this in the book of, let's get this in, where we at? Let's get this in the book of Wisdom of Solomon. So when you go to the book of the Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 8, in verse 8, it says, "If a man desire much experience, she knoweth things of old." And this is wisdom, true wisdom. And it's activated through what? The Holy Spirit. To really understand this wisdom, the Holy Spirit has to be present. And it says, "And conjureth aright what is to come," prophecy. "She knoweth the subtleties of speeches," able to, read. Because even when you read the accounts, certain accounts, man, they speak of things of today. You read in the book of Kings and Chronicles and, Exodus and Genesis. You go into those accounts, man, and they speak of things concerning today. The subtleties of speech, and man, the Lord, when you really read the Bible in the Spirit, man, it's like unlocking a whole nother book. I know once, when I first came into the camp, because I was heavy in the Christian church, real heavy in the Christian church, reading the Bible all the time. But then when I came into the truth and brothers started breaking it down, and it's like it read like a whole nother book. It's like it's unlocked a whole nother book, man. It was like a secret door, was unlocked in the Bible, and it was like, man, you see, it read the whole Bible read different, man. Okay, why? Because the Holy Spirit was present. You see, the Holy Spirit not dealing with the Christian church. You're not getting true wisdom. You're not getting true understanding. You see, and it says, she knoweth the subtleties of speeches and can expound dark sentences. She foreseeth signs and wonders and the events of seasons and times. You see that? So the Lord has it to where now in these last days, there's a ministry of men. Okay, the true prophets, man, that are able to look out and see what's going on, and break these things down according to the scriptures, man. That's the Holy Spirit. That's the talents and the gifts that Yahweh Shai has given, the prophets in these last days. Okay, to be able to read through the scriptures and understand and expound dark sentences, man. To expound on, the writings in the scriptures, man. Whether it's going into older accounts, whether it's going into the epistles in the New Testament. Brothers are able to expound on these things. Brothers go into what was going on, during that time this was written, and the brothers in Dallas, I know they real big on the customs of the East. Okay, when you breaking down the scriptures, okay, really understand the agriculture to really draw out the meaning of a lot of those parables with Yahweh Shai. So it's a beautiful thing. I'm gonna read this in this entirety one more time. Wisdom of Solomon 8:8. If a man desire much experience, she knoweth things of old, and conjureth aright what is to come. She knoweth the subtleties of speeches, and can expound dark sentences. She foreseeth signs and wonders, and the events of seasons and times, man. And we know what season and time we in. We know we in the time of the end. We know we in the season of war. We know we in the season of the sea hill being mandated, man. We understand exactly what times we in. You see, and that's why the Apostle Paul even made the statement. And we'll get back. What's that in 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 and verse 1? What did the Apostle Paul say to the church of Thessalonica? It's 1 Thessalonians 5 and 1. It said, but of the times and the season, brethren, you have no need that I write unto you. You see that? But of the times and the seasons, brethren, you have no need that I write unto you, man. Okay? Understanding what time and what season we in, man. And that's vital, because understanding the time and season we in is telling us how we should move, man. Seeing that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of person are you to be, man? Okay, this ain't the time to be entangled into this world, man. This ain't the time, all right, to be occupied in things that don't matter. Okay, and people that don't matter, man. This ain't the time to be occupied in these things, man. This is the time to be in the good graces of our power. Okay, our life is geared around serving our power more and more. And we should be coming dead to this world. We in that season. We in that season of leaving this world behind, man. You see, that's the season that we in right now. Okay, we're witnessing the transition of power. We're witnessing the Lord bring down, all right, Babylon, man. Okay, Egypt, man. Getting ready. America is prepped for the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah, man. That's the season we in. Okay, so when you go from there, let's get this in the book of Sirach 39. All right. This is the book of Sirach 39 and 1. It says, but he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High and is occupied in the meditation thereof will seek out the wisdom of all the ancient and be occupied in prophecies, man. And this being in the scriptures, man, the law, the prophecies, and now, all right, we have these epistles of the New Testament, okay? And we give our mind over to these things. We're occupied in these things, man, because this is making us wise, man. The scriptures are putting us on, man. The scriptures give you all the game. Hey, the scriptures give you all the game, man. You know, like that uncle that, you know, got all these different life experiences and put you on certain things where the Bible surpasses that. Okay? The Bible puts you on all the game, man, on the spiritual level. Okay? Because beneath the surface of things where there's a spirit of things, man, and the Bible puts on some game on the spiritual level, man, on food, on women, on niggas, on Esau, on ourselves, man. The Bible put us on all the game, man. Okay? And being occupied in these things is making us wise, man. You see? And it says he will keep the sayings of the renowned men, and where subtle parables are, he will be there also. He will seek out the secrets of grave sentences and be conversant in dark parables, man. Okay? And that's why you see, you know, brothers have the ability to go into this and go into that and put this together and extrapolate that. And that's the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Al Shah. It's the Rakak Kodash working, man. You know, and making men wise, man. And you do these things over and over again, what you become skillful. That repetition creates skill, man. You see? It says, he shall serve among great men and appear before princes, man. And that's a rulership. You know? Because these men that the Lord has teaching his word, well, guess what? There's going to come a time where these men are going to be great men and princes. You see? And Lord will, hey, I want to be in the mix. You see? I want to be in the mix of these great men and princes, man. All right, which is rulers, joint heirs with Yahweh, man. It says, he will serve among great men and appear before princes. He will travail through strange countries, for he have tried the good and the evil among men. Okay? And we're being refined in this strange country. You know, we have this wisdom and we're able to apply real time in this strange country, which is America, man. You see? Because the Lord put us in a position where we've been on both sides, man, evil and good. Okay? And it's refining us and making us well-rounded and balanced. You see? It says, verse 5, it says, he will give his heart to resort early to the Lord that made him, right, which make this a priority. Okay, when you do something early, it's a priority. Okay, it says he will give his heart to resort early to the Lord that made him, and will pray before the Most High, and will open his mouth in prayer and make supplication for sins. Yeah, because, you know, we understand how vital, and because if we're becoming wise, we understand the importance of prayer. You know, prayer is important, man. Talking with the Father, man. Real time. You know, resorting to prayer real time, man. It's something I'm, you know, being more adamant about. And it's praying real time when you feel a certain feeling, when you know, resorting to prayer, man. That's becoming wise. You see? It says, he shall direct his counsel in knowledge, and in his secrets he shall meditate. He shall show forth that which he have learned, and shall glory in the law of the covenant of the Lord. Okay? So what we're seeing now, you know, the Lord has raised up a remnant that's becoming wise. Okay? Wise unto salvation. You see? So who is the wise man, man? It's the remnant. Okay? In these last days, a hopeful elect. Okay? Men, women, and children who are allotted for salvation these last days, man. You know? So Lord will, you brothers, all right, and you few sisters edified once again. Want to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah Bahashem, Rakakadash, and double honors to the apostles and elders GMS who rule well, teach well, being great example towards younger brothers, and peace and blessings, salutations to the hopeful. Shalom.